Alcohol can often make people feel more relaxed and social, but after a while, it can also cause issues with sleeping, interfere with brain chemicals, and even make mental health issues worse. Kelly Kitley is a therapist, author, and mental health expert. Kelly has personal experience with alcohol abuse and wrote about it in this book. It is called Myself, an autobiography of survival. Kelly joins us now with more information on the link between drinking and our mental health. It's great to see you.
So good to see you, Molly.
And I've seen posts on social media about your sobriety. How long has it been now?
It's been 12 years that I've been abstinent from alcohol.
Wow.
Yeah.
12 years.
Yeah.
Was that the reason that you wrote the book in the first place?
It was. I mean, I grew up above my parents' bar in Chicago, and so I lived in a very alcohol-saturated community, and it was either you had a problem or you didn't have a problem.
It was one or the other.
It absolutely was, and I think historically that's what it's been, and today we're really looking at alcohol use from a whole health perspective. So it's really been an amazing opportunity to speak from my abstinence point of view, but then also to look at moderation management as a way of just being more mindful with consumption.
So the Surgeon General has this warning about the link between alcohol use and at least 7 different kinds of cancer. That's a pretty big deal.
It's huge. I think it's a game changer for all of us to have this awareness piece. And the goal is to put a warning label on alcohol, similarly as cigarette warnings. This may cause cancer. It will help people to pause before they consume.
So you mentioned just a second ago a whole health perspective, looking at a holistic approach as it relates to alcohol use. What does that mean for you, especially as a therapist, talking to people who maybe are on the spectrum of abusing alcohol?
Sure. So it's a question I ask in an assessment too. How much alcohol are you drinking? We usually lie about that because we don't want to totally be vulnerable and admit how much we're drinking. But looking at how it impacts our sleep, how does it impact nutrition, exercise? Is it impacting our professional life? Is it impacting relationships, mental clarity? I mean, the list goes on. And in my sobriety, I look at that as a superpower, just being able to have a clear mind every day.
Yeah, how is life for you now compared to how it was 12 years ago? I'm sure to you it's a noticeable difference.
It's huge. And for me in the beginning, it was so noticeable just for my interpersonal relationships and as a mom of 4. And now my kids I have 4 teenagers. And so now I'm noticing how the conversation has changed and modeling positive behavior that they can go to a party and they don't have to drink. And it is not my goal to convince people not to drink. It's just to look at how can we make small changes in our behavior that have a huge difference in our life.
So let's talk about that then, because there's sort of like a moderation movement. It's not really new, but there are a lot of different opinions about moderation and abstinence. What are your thoughts about it? Because we've talked before about a dry January, for example, where people take a temporary break from it.
Yes, so I look at it as a harm reduction model. And so for me, I tried moderation management for years because I didn't want to give it up completely. So I would take breaks, but then I'd go back to drinking. And so for people who are looking and can moderate, who don't fall into the category of alcohol abuse, it is setting a goal in place for the week. Maybe you look at today, Monday, and say, what social events do I have this week? Do I have to drink? Have to. Drink at any of these events? Could I alternate each glass of wine with a cup of water? Could I have a non-alcoholic beverage? There's so many delicious mocktails out there. And sometimes it's just about the ritual of holding something and feeling like you're participating.
I noticed so many more people too drinking non-alcoholic beers, and especially during the week. A lot of times I like a non-alcoholic beer, especially if I'm having a meal out or something like that with friends. And I think to the mocktail point, you can feel like you're socializing just like everybody else if that's important to you, but yet you're still waking up with a clear head and feeling really good when you get home and driving home safely.
Yes, absolutely. I was just talking to one of your producers behind the scenes, and he was saying that he has actually made some changes in his own lifestyle, and he notices he wakes up more refreshed. He's a better partner to his girlfriend, and it is just so wonderful hearing people's stories about making this lifestyle change.
Yeah, so if they think they're maybe, and do you still use the word spectrum, like of alcohol use? if you're still on the spectrum somewhere and you're trying to sort it out, is there anything you'd suggest for people who'd like to try moderation or want to do what you said, which is harm reduction?
Sure. So we want to make sure, because people can have withdrawal symptoms. If they're drinking, daily and a lot, nobody can stop on their own. They may need some assistance medically to make sure that they're preventing any kind of seizures or medical issues. But for somebody who's more of a moderate drinker, being able to take a look at how much they're drinking, get really honest with yourself, and write down a goal that you have in mind. Why are you looking to make these changes? And really, if it is from a whole health perspective, really try, if you're drinking 6 drinks a week, try 3 drinks a week and see how that makes you feel, and log any improvements that you might notice in your life.
There is a connection too between alcohol use and the impact it has on mental health, and it's Mental Health Awareness Month as well as Alcohol Awareness Month. So it can exacerbate things like depression and anxiety, right?
Yes, alcohol is a depressant, and so momentarily it might make us feel okay for an hour or the night that we're drinking, but so many of my clients and myself as well report feeling more anxious and depressed with alcohol use. And a lot of times we are self-medicating our mental health symptoms with alcohol, and it's just adding fuel to the fire. So if anybody's struggling with any mental health issues, that might be a first place to make some adjustments so we can see what's underneath the alcohol.
Yeah, and a lot of people use it probably for untreated mental health issues. Kelly, thank you so much for joining us, sharing your story in your book, and want to make sure that everybody knows that you're widely known as America's social worker. So you can catch and watch some of Kelly's media appearances about mental health on her YouTube channel. It's at Kelly Kitley.